Now, off the bat, when you get into the platform, you're going to be taken to the Positions tab. So this is the Positions tab right in the center of our screen. This is going to be our primary window where we go to manage our positions or place new trades, even look at charting and research. But to the left and right side of this, just a quick precursor, it's going to be our left-hand watch list. This is just a nice little watch list here where you can go through a set of pre-curated watch lists. You can import a list of symbols that you like to track or create your own. And in this case, we're just looking at the technology watch list, which is just stocks in the technology sector in the US. The watch list on the left side is going to be really nice as we look to trade a handful of symbols here. But then also on the right side of our screen, and I just wanted to mention this first, just in case some of you might not see this on your screen. On the right side here is going to be our right side panel. Easy enough. But this is going to be an abbreviated view of our middle panel. And the reason that we have this here is so that you don't have to jump around a bunch of different pages while you're trying to place your trades. You're able to get most of the information or take actions on your orders or your positions all within one window. And then you can kind of customize it based on how you want to see it. And I see the question, is this the desktop platform? Yes. So if your platform looks a little bit different, you are on our web browser platform at my.tastytrade.com. This is our desktop downloadable software. So if you go to our technology page, I'm sure Mark, Andy, or Alex can go ahead and toss that in the chat, but you'll see a little download now button. And that's what we're going to be using today for today's demo. I would say if you're an options trader, definitely stick to the desktop platform for right now. Our web platform's getting there. We made some big upgrades throughout this past year, but there's definitely some nicer analysis, some more advanced tools for your options trading, and that's going to be on our desktop platform that we're showing today. So to get back to what I was just saying over here, this right side panel, we're going to be using it. If you don't see it right now, and right now I actually have it embedded inside from clicking on that arrow, but if you don't see it, in the top right corner of your platform, there should be an arrow right up here. If you click on that in the top right, that's going to expand your right side panel. And then if you have a big enough screen resolution, you'll also be able to click on this arrow right here. So now that we kind of have our screen set up and we're ready to place a trade, the first thing you're going to want to do is pull up the symbol that you want to trade. And you can do that by going to the top left of the platform. And right now, the active symbol or the most recent symbol that we searched for or we're looking to trade on was Tesla or TSLA. But if I wanted to, say, trade a different company, maybe I wanted to trade options on Ford, I can type in that company name, and you'll see in our search results here, you see F or Ford Motor Company. I could click on that, and now it's our active symbol. And right now we are in the Positions tab where we manage our open positions. But once we're ready to place a new trade, we'll go ahead to the Trade tab here on our left side navigation bar. So you see positions there, and then we'll go to Trade. I just need to reset this real quick. But by default, you're going to be taken to our trade table. And there's a couple different views for, go back, redraw that. There's a couple different views for trading options. I'll get into all of them and our kind of analysis mode in just a second. But by default, you're taken to the options chain. And if you've traded other brokers, probably looks very similar. But this is where we're going to see all of the available expirations to trade for this symbol. So right now, we are looking at the options chain on Ford. Now, say we wanted to look at an options chain on a different symbol. So we wanted to maybe look at some of the options on symbols in our technology watch list. You can also click on any symbol in your watch list over here, and that's going to make it your platform's active symbol. You'll notice the top here updates to Apple's information. The right side updates to Apple's information as well. We can also see if we have any open positions, working orders. That's where this right side panel comes in super, super nice. But then also we have the options chain on Apple in the center. Now, I kind of wanted to place an example trade in Tesla because it seemed interesting enough. So we'll type in Tesla at the top, and you could type in the company name too, either or. Click on the results, and now we see that options chain there. And then we'll go into kind of some of these settings here and make sure that you're all set up and have what you want before getting into placing trades. So first, just a little wayfinding on the options table here in the center. This is where you'll mostly garner most of your attention when you first open up the options chain, is you're deciding, hey, what expiration do I want to trade? And that's where you're looking at this middle column right here. You see 3D, 10D, 17D. Those are days until expiration. So this August 2nd is in 3 days. So these options are going to expire in 3 days. August 9th, 10 days. So if you like to work off of specific dates, you can look over here on the left. But for the most part, I'm just looking at the middle here and going, oh yeah, I'm looking to maybe trade, 50 or so day out expiration. Well, it looks like this September 20th fits those parameters pretty darn closely. And then also you can notice too, you might notice these little orange W's. Those are indicating weekly expirations. So for those of you that like to trade 0 DTE or something along those lines, you're probably going to be trading the weeklies. Or if you want to just stick to the monthlies, they don't have that orange W, and it's a slightly lighter color, not grayed out there over the date. Depends on the symbol. Usually the monthlies are a little more liquid, or those bid-ask spreads are a little bit tighter, but it's just up to your own preference. And now if you don't see weekly expirations for the symbol you have pulled up, if you're following along with Tesla, hopefully you should see that. But just to note, in the top right of the options chain here, there's a little filter icon. If you click on that, this is where we can filter between regular expirations, which are just the monthly expirations, the third Friday of the month, or you can go to non-regular, which are going to be our weekly expirations. So if I go to non-regular, you notice it's only those weekly options, or if I go to regular, now those weekly options are gone. So depending on what you want, personally, I just keep it to all expirations, simple enough, but just in case you didn't see it. Cool. And then the last piece of information that I'm going to reference back in just a second, just want you all to keep an eye on this. This is really great actual information for deciding what kind of expiration you want to trade. You'll see the implied volatility as well as the expected move for each of these expirations. I'll give you the definition in just a second if you're not familiar once we get into the chain. But if you are familiar with these metrics, that's where you can find that data for each of these expirations. Now that we are ready to place a trade, the quickest way to do that is going to be, and actually, honestly, I pulled up Tesla, but I just talked about how we could only trade futures. So we're actually going to trade some S&P futures. So let me circle back there. We're going to look up /ES is going to be E-mini S&P futures. We also have a watch list on our right side. If you go on this drop down, go to futures, futures all, you can see all the different futures products we have available. But we're going to place a trade on S&P futures just so we can get the order filled. And in this case, you'll notice there's a lot more expirations to trade. Makes sense because it's the futures, but we'll go ahead and maybe pick, that same kind of 50 days out, 51 days out. Once you click on that row, so I did that a little quick, but this was the expiration we wanted to trade. If you click on anywhere in this row, that's going to go ahead and expand the options chain. So we'll click on that, expand our options chain, and now we're looking at all of the available strike prices to trade on this symbol. So you can go to the right side here or use your mouse wheel and scroll up and down if you want to view more strikes, or use your mouse, drag it up and down, ton of different strikes for the S&P futures. But I also want to mention that if you don't see all these strikes, one more setting to keep track of is going to be this one right up here at the top is strikes. I have it set to strikes all, but maybe you have it set to 12 right here. You're going to see a lot less strikes. So if you switch to 20, got some more, switch it to all, you got a bunch. So it depends on how far out of the money or in the money you want to place your trade. But especially for those of you that are looking to place calendar spreads, this is where changing the strikes to maybe 8 or 10, and then going between two different expirations, we can click on the 59 days out. Now we have these two different options expirations open at the same time, and we could set up a calendar spread. So we can do that a little bit later. But just to keep it simple, we'll just start with a classic vertical spread, and I'll show you how you can create any options trade that you're looking to place. So we'll go back to maybe 20 strikes, or yeah, we'll keep it to 20 strikes, keep it simple. We'll come back to the expected move once we get back to placing an equities trade. But once we're ready to set up a trade here, we're going to have a couple columns that we want to pay attention to. So on the left side here, is going to be our call options. So we have our call options pricing. On the left, we have our bid prices. So these are actually buttons that we would click on to set up a trade. So if we were clicking on a bid price, we would be selling that call option. If we were clicking on an ask price or the buy here, we would be buying an option. Conversely, on the right side here, we're going to have the puts and we have the bid and ask. So same thing, click on the bid to sell, click on the ask to buy. And then between these two columns, we're going to have all of the different strike prices that we can trade. And now you'll see based on the top of the platform here, S&P futures trading about 54.58, and that lines up between our two strikes here. That's where our at the money line is, or where ES is currently trading. And now it might be a little hard to see, but there's this little green donut here in the middle as well. That is where the current price is for this underlying. And if it's green, that just means that it ticked up. If it's red, it ticked down. If it's gray, either the market's closed or it's just not moving. Awesome. So now we can set up a trade here, and we can set up these columns in just a second. I'll wait until we get to the equities just to keep it simple. But to set up a vertical spread, maybe we want to do a long vertical spread where we're profiting as long as the price increases. What we can do is go to our call side here, and we'll find the long call strike that we want to buy. Maybe we want to buy the 54.60 and then sell the 54.75. So about a 15-point wide spread. We can click on the bid, or not the bid, the ask price right there. And you'll notice that our order ticket down here updated. So I'll clear out this trade. I'll show you how to do that again in just a second. But clicking on the ask price on our strike, we now have an order ticket to buy a long call option. We'll see that down here. We'll also see the line item here, and that green B1 is we're buying one contract. Once we're ready to sell a leg, all we need to do is go to our strike price here, 54.75. Move our mouse over to the bid price, all right here, and we click on that, and now you'll see a sell leg, or that red S1, and we're selling that leg. When we look at the bottom of our order ticket here too, we can kind of just see a brief overview of the trade that we're about to place. But what's nice is that after you click on these different strikes, at any time you can left click and drag and move each of these legs to a different strike as you see fit. You can also use some of these tools here at the bottom to either move our strikes up or down, widen out your spread, maybe tighten it up. So we'll go to 15, but maybe we want to go to a $10 wide spread. And then additionally, you can adjust the quantity. So right now we just have one vertical spread. That's a B1, S1. But if we click on quantity over here to 2, now we have buying 2, selling 2. So 2 vertical spreads. Nice. And then lastly, there's a couple other options here on our right side. If you wanted to quickly adjust and see what this looked like in a future expiration or one a little bit earlier, you can mess with the expirations there. You could swap around the trade and say, hey, actually, maybe I want to do a short spread. That'll flip your strikes so that we're selling the 54.60, buying the 54.75. So I can show that real quick. Flips it around. And then we also have some undo and redo buttons. So if you want to go back, redo what you just did, or if you want to get rid of this trade entirely, you can click on clear. So just to show you what that looks like, if we click on clear right here, now we no longer have that trade up. But there's one other area I wanted to show you how you can set up a trade, especially if you're new to options trading and a little more comfortable with this preset feature. If you go to the top of the options chain, we have this strategy selector here too. And you click on this drop down. So this little button up here, this is going to show you all the different strategies that you can place. What's nice is that these buttons here actually toggle between long and short or put and call. And right there, we were doing a long call vertical spread. So I can toggle between those and go long call vertical, click on go, and that sets up our legs as well. So for those of you that, maybe you're placing a ratio spread or something along those lines, a 1-to-2 ratio, might save you some time in adjusting the quantity where it already sets it up as a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. You can go all the way to 8-to-1. But in this case, we just want to do a long vertical. We'll widen it out again to $15 wide. And then we can check out our order ticket here and see, okay, we have a long spread here. We're losing a little bit of money each day due to time decay. Small deltas on this one. And then we can also see our max profit and max loss based on the spread. So our max profit right now, based on our entry price, is right around 300, $50. It's moving as the prices are moving as well. Max loss about $400. And then to open this trade, it's going to take up about $462 in buying power. So once you're comfortable with your setup and you're ready to place this trade, you'll go down here to the limit price to set up what kind of price you want to get in this trade at. So a limit order is going to fill you at whatever your limit price is or better. In this case, it's a long spread. So it's either going to be 825 or cheaper to get filled. But what's nice too is that if you look down here at the bottom, you're going to see the spread for this, or how wide this strategy is currently trading. Right now, it's about $2 or 2 points wide based on these options. So we can see that the mid price right now is 8.25. We're a little more likely to get filled as we approach $9 or 9.25. So if there's a 50x multiplier for futures options, it can get a little confusing if you're new to it. But just to show you how it looks to place a trade, we can maybe bump this up to 9 points just so we get a fill right away. And then once we're ready to ship it off, we can go to review and send the order. So you can see that order has been working, and then we get a filled notification as well because the order ended up getting filled. What's really nice, and I'm going to come back and show you how to place these trades a little bit slower as well, just because we got 5 minutes left in the future session, wanted to send it off. What's really nice here is that we place that trade in our options table. We're going to see our open positions. Additionally, on our right side panel here under the overview section, we will see, and I'm drawing all over the place here, so it might be a little confusing, but we're going to see our position details. So this is in the overview tab. We'll see our position details. So we can see that open position that we just opened. And then we can also see that order that we just placed to open. So we set a limit price of about 9 points. We ended up getting filled at about 835. So nice little price improvement there on this one. And then once you've done that, once you have your position open here, there's 2 places you can go to manage or go to close and place a closing order on the position. You can go to the positions tab here. And when we open it up, we'll see ES in here. We can click on that, and now we see our call spread. Or this is one of the best features on our platform, is going to be our order chains tab. So this is super, super nice as you are an options trader. So let me just type in /ES there. But once you have your symbol selected and you go to our right side panel here, just clear that one more time. So on our right side panel here, it's this button. It's called Order Chains. We're going to see our open position and our opening order, as well as some metrics on the trade. So we can see our total profit or loss. Right now, we're at about a $5 loss based on the mid price. We can also see where current mark is and the average trade price. So what's great about the order chains, and we didn't show it right here, but say I were to roll one of these strikes. So I'm just going to do it really quick because we have 3 minutes left. I'll show you how to do this again in just a second. But we will roll out this strike, and maybe let me go back here. Let's do end of the month. Now let's do that. So we'll ship that off. Order's working. Just adjust this. Bump it up a little bit. There we go. Got filled. And then just to show you for example purposes there, so we just rolled really quickly to a different expiration. But in the order chains tab, we saw that opening order, that call spread. But then also, as you're making adjustments or rolling your positions, it's going to keep track of those rolls as well. And then you can go to your current open position, which is the top right here, and right-click it to take any action to place a closing order. So maybe we'll just show closing it real quick because we got 1 minute left. But if you wanted to just close this order right away, you can go to close position. It's going to open up a closing order ticket. And then we can go review and send. Check out that we're doing what we're looking to do. And then send off the order. And now it's working, filled and closed. Oops, did I only select one leg there? But yeah, here, we'll close out this leg as well. Got that I rolled it there for a second. Oopsie. So we'll roll that, send off that order, and close that as well. What's nice is that it's going to keep track of our total P&L, and it looks like Scott's not going to be too happy. Lost about $100 on that, so oopsie. But for example purposes, super, super nice feature on the right side there is the Order Chains tab. I'll show it in a little bit more detail in just a second, but let's go ahead and go back and place an equities trade. So we hit 4 o'clock, futures is done, but that's just how quick you can go through and make some of these adjustments. If you're trading futures options, if you're trading equity options, you can do all that very, very quickly through using the Order Chains tab, going through your positions, checking out your working orders. Super nice. Awesome. So that's just a little bit on our futures, and apologies if I was talking fast, but I was running out of time there. If only it was 24/7. I mean, maybe futures will get there one day if the CME gets on their business, but we'll get there at some point. But okay, great. So we placed a futures trade, cool enough. Let's go back and look at placing some more advanced options trades and looking at the analysis mode as well. So I'm sure that's what a lot of you are looking to do. So we're going to go a lot slower this time, and we will cover some more details as well. So I wanted to place a trade on Tesla. So we can type in Tesla here at the top of our platform. Now we're looking at the options chain on Tesla. And maybe we'll look to trade 52 days out. So 52 days, I can click on this expiration right there. And then let's talk about the expected move a little bit and how you can use this to help set up your trades. So up here in the top right, I mentioned it at the start of the demo, but the expected move, if you're new to it, it's an options metric that looks at the options pricing and the current volatility and gives a estimation based on a 68% certainty, so 1 standard deviation certainty of where this symbol is going to trade over these days until expiration. So in this case, Tesla is trading, right around $222. That's where it closed at. But based on the expected move here, it's saying over the next 52 days, the one standard deviation range, and this is just based on the options pricing, is about $29.92, or we could round it up to about $30 up and down. So could possibly, within that one standard deviation move, go up $30 or down $30 over these next 52 days. And, there might be some weird events. Elon says something funky and then boom, it drops or goes up. So it's not a guarantee that it's going to trade throughout that range, but it's a statistical value looking at standard deviations. What's nice is that once you get into the options chain here, you'll see this expected move on your strike prices. So this orange highlight is showing us that $30 up and down. And now if any of you don't see this, click on the gear icon in the top right. So this gear icon in the top right of our options chain, and then drawings everywhere. But right here on price range overlay, just make sure you have this set to expected move. Once you have that set up, you should start to see that orange highlight. And then I see someone asking, what are the blue dashed lines? So it's talking about standard deviations. And this standard deviation is talking quickly there, but this blue line actually shows you the one standard deviation line based on the classic calculation. So it's not looking at the options pricing. It's just looking at Tesla itself and its implied volatility. So it's a slightly different metric than the expected move, but I'll show you how they both align in just a second. So I saw someone mentioning earlier, hey, can we see someone asking, let's place a butterfly spread. Let's do that. So if you wanted to place a butterfly spread, you could do it by clicking on the bid and asks on either side, or if we want to, we can also go up to our strategy selector, go to normal iron condor and click on go. And now that's going to set up a default trade right near at the money. But once we have those legs set up, and just to show you what it would look like too, just by clicking on it, you could also just go buy, sell, buy, sell, or click on go up here. So I messed up there on the click, but you can inverse around. So once you have your legs set up here, or in the iron condor, you're buying a call spread or selling a call spread, selling a put spread, whatever combination you're looking to do if you're doing a reverse. But here, once we have that set up, we can drag and move around our legs to a different strike price and kind of use this expected move to help us set it up. So on the left here, you'll notice this red, green, and red. This is actually showing us our profit or loss zones at expiration for this trade. So if I wanted to maybe place this iron condor, which profits as long as Tesla trades within this range over the next 52 days, with time decay playing in our factor, we can drag our strikes here up or down and up, kind of line up that green and red zone to be right outside of our expected move, or I can drag the legs here to be right outside of that. And in this scenario, we would be profiting at expiration as long as it trades within that expected move range. And now this is just a big eagle-eye view. You don't necessarily see exactly your break-evens, and that's where we'll hop into the analysis mode. So once you're ready to kind of get a deeper view of your trade, and you can also set up a trade from the analysis mode as well, you'll click on analysis up here in the top left. So you see this button right here. We'll click on analysis, and then we'll also go to curve trading mode. So here you might see a drop down, curve, and then we also clicked on analysis. So I'm sure you traded some other brokers, you've seen a very similar page. And this is where we can get a P&L graph at expiration, and we can also look at theoreticals in just a second. But here we're just looking at our P&L at expiration based on where Tesla is trading. So for example, as you see my mouse kind of move around here, you see this box right here. So it's going to move as I get off my drawing tools here. But as I scroll my mouse back and forth, you can see that it has a price, P&L expiration, and P&L Theo. So if Tesla, we open this trade, were to expire at $220 at expiration, we would have a profit of $197, or our max profit for this iron condor. Conversely, if it trades outside of our range to maybe a price of 170, that's where we're going to be at our max loss of $303. And what's really great is that you can drag and move around these strikes. So maybe you want to do broken wing butterfly or something along those lines. You can drag, you can move these buttons here to widen it out, bring it together. Maybe want to make it a little tighter. We can tighten it up, or we can widen it out. And that will all update our order ticket. The graph here is also updating, which is really nice. And then at any point, you can use your mouse wheel, and then also these little magnifying glasses or the scale here if it's not fitting to your screen right away. And that's just showing us the P&L at expiration. But maybe I want to analyze this a little bit more before getting into this trade. What I can do is go over here, and it should auto update when you click on analysis, but I clicked off of it earlier. But when you're in this window, click on analysis over here on the right side. We're going to see all the different legs that we're currently analyzing. And then what's really nice is that we have these tools right here that we can adjust. So right now we're viewing P&L at expiration. But if we go over here and change, kind of toggle off some of these things. So we're looking at P&L at expiration. That's these two boxes. So this is kind of the line, or this line right here, and this is the zone. So if I click off of it, it's empty. If I click P&L at expiration and at expiration, we're viewing the expiration lines. But say I wanted to look at theoretical pricing, I would toggle these off and click on P&L Theo and Theo zones. And now we're looking at the theoretical profit or loss for this trade for today. So, and that's because on our right side over here, we're looking at an evaluate date at 7:30 or today. We wanted to look over the course of this trade to see as time decay plays in our favor. So I'm just clicking on this arrow here to increase the days. We're in September right now, and then our expiration is right here. You'll notice, oh, at expiration, the theoreticals matches the at expiration graph. But as time is going back in time, as time decay, it's doing a little less. We'll see that profit zone get bigger or shrink. And now additionally, you can also mess around with the spot price, or you can look at adjusting either the entire expirations volatility. So it gets cut off there, but down here in the bottom right, you go, maybe I want to see, hey, if volatility increases to 10% more for this expiration, what's going to theoretically happen to my position on September 4th? Or in this case, since it's a short strategy, we want volatility to contract. So if volatility goes down 10%, it's in our benefit. So this is a really, really nice window as you're looking to stage your trades. You can adjust the strikes as you see fit your risk tolerance as well as your objective. And then once you're ready to send off a trade, similar to our options trade on futures earlier, we'll go down here to set our price. So right now the spread's trading between about $2.15 and $2.65. So maybe, we place it around, and the market's closed too, so the bid-ask spreads widen out, but, maybe we want to do like 225 or 230. We could set that and then go ahead and clear that off too. And we can also set the time in force. So in this case, since the market is closed, we'll need to set it as GTC or GTD. GTC stands for good till canceled. This means that our order is going to continue working until it's either filled or you manually cancel it. So imagine we wanted to maybe open this spread up for a credit of $3, but it's trading right around 250. What you're saying is, hey, I want to keep this order working for an indefinite amount of days until it trades up to this price, and then I want to get into it. So it might be a little more applicable for your closing orders and or for stock trading or outright futures trading, but generally I'm just setting it as GTC. You can also do day orders if you want, but it just depends on what you're looking to do. Once we're ready to send it off, we can click on review and send. Get a breakdown on our trade, any commissions and fees we're paying, buying power reduction, the account we're placing it in. Then we can send it off. And now we're working that order on Tesla. When we go back to the overview section here, we'll see this working order on our right side panel. But additionally, kind of your main hub for managing your positions, you'll go to the positions tab and you'll see this current working order on Tesla right here. And just to show you how to edit these orders or cancel them, either on your right side panel or in your positions tab, you can right click and that's going to pull up this little action menu. We could either go cancel order, we could replace this order, we could do a similar order. Maybe I want to place two of these at slightly different prices, or we could do the opposite. So in this case, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but we can maybe change our order price by clicking on replace there, or on the right side as well. If you right click on Tesla and go to replace, that's going to pull up a replacement order where we're taken back to our trade screen. And maybe we want to bump it up to the mid price of 240. We could type in 240 in our order ticket at the bottom, go to review and send off that order. And now we've canceled our order at 230 and we're working an order at 240. Nice. So that is, and then also, for example, if you wanted to cancel this order at any point, you can right click on either of these and click on cancel. And that's showing you how to place an opening trade. Again, the equities is closed, so I can't open up that position now. But now I'll show you how you can set up closing orders on your options positions. And I see a lot of people asking about conditional orders or OCO, OTOCO orders or brackets. And these, and I see Mark, thank you for tossing in the instructions in there. But if you wanted to place a bracket order or a closing order on your options position, what's really nice is that all you need to do is find your trade in here in your positions tab. So we got Apple right here. Might look to collapse for you. In this case, either you can click on this arrow in the top right, open them all up, or you can click on an individual symbol to expand that. We have our vertical spread here. And click on the title here or just on individual legs. And once you've selected them, you'll notice too, the right side here, same thing, where you can left click to take action on these positions. So that's that kind of mirrored experience depending on where you're at. You can right click, and then we have a few options to set up a closing trade. If we want to just place a classic closing order, just place a limit order to close, we can click on close position, but I want to show you how to place a bracket order. And a bracket order is two orders, or well, an OCO is two orders where you're setting a take profit on the top side and a stop loss on the bottom side. These orders work in unison until either one of them is filled and then the other one gets canceled, or you cancel the order entirely. So say we place a bracket order and our take profit gets hit, it's going to automatically cancel our stop loss since our position's closed. So we can click on bracket here in the positions tab, and we'll have bracket order or a bracket order window. And we'll see our open position here on Apple. And then we'll also see our closing orders that we can set up. So we have our stop loss and our close profit. So you can do this on a percentage basis or on a points basis. But just for example, maybe we want to set a stop loss at about a 40% loss, which in this case is a loss of $39. And then we want to do a take profit a little bit higher, maybe at 75% when our trade reaches a profit of $73. That'll automatically set our prices here. And then additionally, we can adjust our stop limit a little bit or our stop trigger. So maybe we'll go down to 60 there. We'll set the stop limit at 58, so right around 40%. And then once you're ready to ship this off, you can go to review and send, get a quick breakdown on your trade, and send it off. And now we'll see that working bracket order in our positions tab. At any point, like I was just showing earlier, you can right click and cancel these orders or look to replace them, or you can view the order as well in its entirety. Can't talk. But that is placing an OCO order. And I see the question here is trigger is a market order. So when it comes to option spreads, you can only place stop limits. And that's because of the risk near the market open and close for option spreads in specific. But with the stop limit, essentially what you're saying is, hey, when my stop price gets hit, go ahead and send off a limit order. So you can have the stop and limit at the same exact price if you wanted to. Generally, I usually leave about a cent between them, just based on how the orders go through. But that's how you can set up a bracket order there. So thanks for the question. And then I just want to show you two. So maybe let's go to TSM here to just show a trade. So we'll go back to our table mode here. So trade, looked up a different symbol. Maybe we'll trade the September 20th expiration. We will buy a call option. And so we had OCO orders. So one cancels the other, but we have OTOCO orders, which is a one triggers a one cancels the other. And that's the bracket order button in this bottom left here. So if you wanted to open a trade and then have a bracket order automatically start working afterwards, you can click on bracket right here. And now we can set our orders limit price for entry, as well as our take profit and stop loss. And what's nice about single-legged options is that you will be able to set it as either a stop limit or a stop market order. Once you're ready, you can go ahead and ship it off just like we did. Nice. So some just last things, some little Easter eggs I want to show before opening it up to Q&A and covering anything that I might have not shown just yet. If you ever want to check out an option's price over time or the chart of an option, you can right click on the bid or ask price for that strike. So if I wanted to view the options pricing history for the 160 strike here for this expiration, I can right click. Oops, I double click there, but I can right click and you'll see view option in chart. We'll select that. And if it wants to load for me, there we go. Now we can view the option pricing here for this option. So just to show that one more time, we right click on any of these strike prices on the call or put side, and it'll pull up a chart for us. Additionally, as you are trading options, and especially for those of you that like to roll options, if you go to the order chains tab here, you might need to set the days back if you got some older trades. Why is this giving me a hard time? There we go. Okay. My computer's dying. It sounds like a jet engine in the background. You might not hear it, but yeah, it's getting a little laggy because of Zoom, so sorry. But if you pull up an order chains on a specific symbol, what's really nice is that maybe you want to go back and look at the history of where you made these adjustments or trades. On any of your order chains on the right side panel here, you can right click on any of the orders and go to view market state snapshot. So I'm right clicking on here, going to view market state snapshots. And here, we can see a graph of TSM's price and then each date that we made an adjustment to our position. So we can see 12/28. These are all on the same day, so not the best example, but this was throughout a day as an example where we opened a position, we rolled our strikes, or no, actually we rolled expirations, and then I rolled one of the strikes on one of the positions, and then I closed it out. You can see where TSM was trading when each of those trades were made. I could also look at where the IV rank was for TSM when these adjustments were made, or delta. See, hey, oh yeah, I was a little more bullish at the start. Once I rolled, I was a little slightly bearish, right around delta neutral. And then as we made adjustments here, you can see how delta chains or theta or IV index. So this is really good for going back and tracking to see maybe, hey, what was I doing or what was I thinking at the time based on the options price? But that is our order chains tab. So apologies again if I was talking a little fast here. It is a lot of information, all in one sitting. And I'll show you guys in just a second once we get through the Q&A here, where you can find some great tutorial videos that, definitely a lot slower, and goes into some greater detail on these different features and how to set up some of these more advanced trades like a ratio spread or a calendar or something along those lines. And I see a question coming in. So I'll go ahead. Yeah, let's open it up for Q&A here. And I see the question, is it possible to create an option spread chart? As of right now, there isn't. That's honestly a great idea. So I'll pass that on. And too, if you got any feedback on stuff you want to see, I work closely with our products team. So I will pass on each of these pieces of feedback. So option spread chart. We'll look at it, my friend. Hopefully in later this year. Should be possible. Just got to wire up the charting a little bit. But any other questions? So I see a question coming in, alerts. So if you're looking to place alerts right next to our order chains tab here on the right, you can go to alerts. It's a little bell icon. And by default, and we're pushing out an update later this year that will essentially allow you to place alerts on anything that you're looking for, like delta, theta, all that. But in our current implementation, you can just place an alert on the underlying. Now you can do it with an option too. I'll show you that in just a second. Kind of uses some of the tools that I just showed you. But say we wanted to, get a notification on our platform, sends you an email. If you have our phone app downloaded as well, it'll send you a push notification. So I could type in TSM here, maybe say, hey, when TSM is greater than 160, please send me an alert. Type in 160, go create alert, and now we have an alert made. Now, if you wanted to do it on an option, there's a couple of steps. You'd go find the option that you wanted to place an alert on, and you need to view the chart for that option. And then once you have that set up there, it should, in theory, if I'm not correct, unless we removed this recently because it was messing up. Yeah, with the new symbol search, it might be a little bit weird. But in short, you can take this options code. It's a lot of work right now, but that's why we're building out the feature in its entirety so that you can alert off of options. But yeah, that's the theory there, is that you're able to find the options code there and type it into the alert symbol, and it should work. And I see, let's see, some Steven hints on getting fills. Good question. So if you are placing a trade, and I kind of just glossed over it at the beginning, but say we are looking to buy a long call spread and we're not getting filled. So maybe, we're looking to place this trade. We placed it at the mid price of 230. So that's looking at the spread here. And again, it's a little wide because the market's closed. Probably tighten up when it opens up tomorrow. But we'll see, oops, here the with this market is trading at. I'm losing my voice, but you can see that right now it's trading right between $2.15 and $2.45. Since we're buying to open, the more we pay, the more likely we are to get a fill, or kind of the worse price you're taking, the more likely you are to get a fill to some extent. We could place it at 215. Chances of getting filled, not super high. But maybe what you want to do is, send it off at the mid price at 230. We could send off this order. And then what's nice is I could go to the activity tab here on the right and see, okay, here's my order. Maybe I want to just replace this and inch it up a couple cents. Maybe I'll pay 3 more cents. You review and send it off, see if you get filled. Market's closed, so we're not going to get filled, but you can just keep doing that. Just inch it up penny by penny if you really want to, try and juice that best price. But when it comes to options fills, the price that you're getting, you're already probably getting price improvement as well. So, you can place it closer than that. If you're overpaying, you'll get a better fill. That's the general consensus around it. So hopefully that answers your question there, Stephen. And then we got where can we add notes for a trade? So we don't have a trading journal just yet on our desktop platform, but we do on our web browser platform. So if you're jumping between the two, you can use that, but that is something that we're looking to potentially build out. I saw the question come up too. Hey, do you have trailing stop losses? Another order type that we are working on. So the devs are in discovery right now. So we should hopefully have that somewhere near the end of this year. And that'll kind of go hand in hand with our alerts. So the goal is that you can kind of place any options trade that triggers off of any metric. So say, oh, I want to open this trade when delta reaches this value, or I want to open my options position when the stock price reaches this price. That's exactly what we're working on, and it should be coming soon. So we've gotten a lot of feedback on it, and we're working on it. So, ooh, George, good question. So open interest in volume on options, and this is actually something I glanced over. So pointing it out there, my friend. Thank you. So on our options chain here, I had these columns for theta and delta. At any point, you can adjust these columns by clicking on the header, and you can go through and see daily high, low, open price, last price, theo, extrinsic value, implied volatility, or open interest. And additionally, you can see where is it? Going blind here. Volume as well. So VOLM and OPNINT. That's open interest and volume. And personally, love that you called it out. This is what I usually kind of have up on my options chain anyways, as you're looking to, trade the most liquid symbols, not get stuck with a super wide bid ask, or, just where market participation isn't going on. You can see here where volume is, or the amount of contracts that were traded for this strike and expiration today, as well as how many open contracts are across the market. So hopefully that answers your question, George. I see question coming in. Is there an option to paper trade? It's something that we are looking into, but right now we don't have that. No. Now you can open an account. You don't have to fund it, and you can play around with the platform. You can use our charting, our research, everything else. You can pull up trades, use the analysis tools. There's no maintenance fees. There's no inactivity fees. It's just when it comes to placing an actual order, that's when you're going to need to have the cash and buying power in your account. So we are looking into it, but not at this moment. And I see the question, David, can you add in more columns to the options chain? Yes, you can. So let me just show you real quick. So if you get here, and let me just make sure I got everything correctly. Cool. So it's going to depend on your screen resolution. So if you have a second monitor, that'll definitely do you justice. But also, if you go to the platform settings, so clicking on the gear icon there, oops, clicking on the gear icon over here too, and you go to general and then zoom level, and maybe go to like 80%, you'll notice that now I've got two additional columns on the options chain. So just to show you one more time, went to general and the modules, and then zoom level 80%. So additionally, if any of you wanted to find a light mode as well, it's right here. So cover your eyes for a second. This is light mode if you want it, or you can always go back and change it back and also adjust your zoom levels. Another question, where can we search for options, time, and sales? So as of right now, we don't have level 2 market data or depth of market data on the platform, but that's another one that we are looking into. So we are looking to revamp our active trader mode, which is for like outright futures and stock trading. And that's where we're looking to kind of add in our depth of market data. So that's another one that we were trying to squeeze in by the end of the year, but it should be coming soon. And I see another question. Where can I see my performance chart? So there is one performance chart. It's going to be in the dashboard, and it's a very basic implementation of it. If you click on the dashboard up here, wants to load for me. On the right side here, this is where you can select an account, and you can go and look and see, hey, what does my net look like over a certain time frame? Again, it's very, very basic implementation. We're improving it soon. But when it comes to reconciling your trades as well, you can always go to our history tab. So let me get rid of that. But you can always go to our history tab over here. This little icon on our bar. If you scroll over it, you can see the name. So you click on history, and then we'll see all of the trades that we were placing earlier. So we can actually see all of the futures trades that we placed. And I opened up some positions earlier just for example purposes while the market was open. But say you wanted to reconcile and see, hey, like based on those futures trades, those futures options trades I was placing earlier, what was my profit or loss? You can left click on each of these legs, or you can left click one of them and shift click to select the rest. But once you've selected a certain leg or a set of legs, in the top right as well, you're going to get a breakdown on your profit or loss, commissions, and fees paid. So we did lose 117 bucks. It's coming out of the paycheck. But if we wanted to check out our year-to-date data as well, we can go to year-to-date over here, and that's going to show us all of our realized, unrealized gains, commissions and fees paid, and then also our P&L year-to-date with those fees baked in for each of the symbol that we've placed a trade on. Nice. And then I see the question, David, again. If I understand correctly, what you are looking for is going to be the activity tab. So we have a main activity tab here in the middle window here. We also have an activity tab on the right side panel. So it depends on, where you want to have it. I'll just collapse that for right now. But in the activity tab, you're going to see all of your filled, working, and canceled orders, or if any got rejected, something funky going on, but you'll see the current mid price, the price of the order that you placed, the time in force, the time you placed it, the order number, if you're ever reaching out to us, might help out, and then also what the trade was too. So you'll see here, for example, that TSM trade that's working, we bought and sold one contract for September 20th, 52 days from now, the 155 strike, 160 strike. They were both call options. And that BTO STO stands for buy to open and sell to open. Conversely, say we were placing a closing trade like on Apple, you can see STC, BTC, that's a closing trade. And once you are filled on these orders, you'll see the fill price and your order price. Cool. Let's see, any... Yes. After hours price action. Yep, gotcha. If you're looking for after hours price action, it should be, if I remember correctly, what was it, sessions? Yeah. So you'll want to make sure in your charting settings that you have extended hours set up here. That should do the trick. And then is there an analyze tab for looking at stocks? Yep, or a company's profile. It's actually really nice. Our research tab, you go to the right side, left side panel here and go to research and news. And then in here right now, our active symbol was TSM, but we could maybe search for, say, Ford. We could type in Ford. Computer's running too super slow. Let's do like Tesla. There we go. So maybe there actually isn't financials for Ford right now, but for pretty much every company, you'll be able to find news, financials like the income statement and balance sheet. You can check out the ratios, analyst forecasts, as well as an about section too. And then as you're like navigating through your watch list, maybe we're looking at the technology watch list. It's really nice where you can kind of click through different symbols in your watch list. And again, my computer's just not loading. But you can go CDW. Maybe there's nothing on that too. But Apple, kind of go around. See Adam asking the question, can you go through a put ratio spread? So we're a little over on time. So next thing I'm going to do, and we do these demos every month or pretty much every week as well. So if we ever didn't cover anything and you wanted to come back and attend one of these, we can definitely cover that next time around. But let me show you a good place to go where you can find a tutorial that we've made before on how to place ratio spreads. So if you're looking to find any of our tutorials at any time, you can always click on the question mark icon here in the bottom. When you click on that, that's going to open up our help center. And then, for example, maybe you were looking to open up and learn about the analysis mode. You can type in analysis mode here and go analysis mode overview. And we have a nice little video walkthrough with pictures, kind of going over what each of these areas mean. And also, if you can put up with my voice too, a little tutorial on how to set it up to check out the theoreticals and all that stuff. On the flip side, maybe you are looking to find, like what is the expected move? You can type in the expected move, find a nice little definition where you can find it on the different areas of our platform as well.